I look back and it's sad because we got to a point towards the end that we were just looking forward for it to be over. And that's not how you want to end a season. That's not a feeling that you want to have.
Lexie Hull is ready to reveal the inside story of the Fever's thrilling 2024 season. Despite the pressures and high expectations, the team has shown remarkable resilience. This is just the beginning, but in her latest interview with Locked On Women's Sports, Hull opens up about the key factors behind the Indiana Fever's impressive turnaround, alongside Caitlin Clark.
Delighted to have ACC legend Lexie Hull. Is that what we have to do now? Oh my God!
I don't like the sound of that.
I know. Me either.
What led to their early struggles, and how did they manage to turn things around to become title contenders? What impact did Christy Sides have in this transformation? And what are her true thoughts on her new coach, Stephanie White? Get ready for an exclusive look at Indianapolis' wild journey. Are you ready? Let's dive in.
When I was in college, I didn't even know if I wanted to play professional basketball because I didn't know if it was a real career path for me.
Picture this. Lexie Hull, a former national champion and the 6th overall pick in the 2022 WNBA draft, found herself sitting on the bench, observing and waiting. It wasn't the start to her 2024 season she had envisioned, yet there she was, sidelined as Katie Lou Samuelson and Christy Wallace took the court instead.
When you're talking to Christy Sides early on, where you're being told, I am going to get more of this playing time, more of this opportunity, and does that help feed your confidence as well?
Hull's journey in the WNBA had been challenging. Her shooting didn't quite measure up to her college days. In her first 2 years, she struggled with her three-point shooting, making just 11% to 22% of her attempts. This was a significant dip from her impressive shooting performance at Stanford.
I think, definitely early on in my career when our team, and my first year, winning 5 games in a season, and then you're not performing great, it's like, where do I belong? This league is tough. Like, what am I doing wrong? And so there's doubts for sure.
The pressure was intense, but Hull pushed herself in every practice and game to prove she belonged. It was no longer just about living up to being the 6th pick in the draft. She was determined to show she could compete at the highest level in the best women's basketball league in the world.
Your ability to shoot was something that we've talked about on previous programs. It's something that you never questioned. It was something that Lynn Dunn was certain of when she drafted you. It was something that, if I will be frank, people around the league were hoping for. This idea that, this is something you'd always done well in college. It was difficult to find a rhythm. It was difficult to find playing time, which makes a difference as far as a rhythm goes.
But things began to shift on May 25th. Playing against Las Vegas, Hull got into a rhythm and hit 4 3-pointers early in the game. Suddenly, she felt more at ease on the court.
You just put up shooting 47.1% from 3.
As the season progressed, Hull's performance improved significantly. When she played over 30 minutes in a game, she made an impressive 66.7% of her three-pointers. Hull reflected, getting more chances to play and seeing my shots go in really boosted my confidence.
When you played more than 30 minutes per game this season, do you know what you shot from 3? You shot 66.7% from 3. When you went out there, there's no such thing as tired legs in that scenario. You are sinking 2 and 3. No one does that. No one does. I mean, it's just incredible.
The biggest change came in Hull's mindset. She stopped doubting herself and began embracing her journey. I'm just grateful for how the sport is growing, she said, feeling more positive and appreciative of her situation.
I mean, it's incredibly satisfying. Looking back on a season, the things that you take are those percentages. Those are the things that, you're working to improve year after year. And so just, really, really proud of myself for sticking with it and believing in myself and continuing to work. And then being able to finish the season with a percentage that I'm proud of.
Hull's comeback was impressive, but it was only the beginning. The Indiana Fever season was about to take a thrilling turn, and Hull was poised to play a key role. Just as she found her rhythm, the entire team faced a daunting challenge that threatened to derail their season before it even got started. 11 games in just 20 days. It sounds nearly impossible, doesn't it? For the 2024 Fever, however, it was just the start of their uphill battle.
Our season was not always fun. And I think that you learn a lot from that. And so being able to kind of talk about those experiences and share like how we can be better and like just stick it out. Like it's okay. Like, yes, losing games sucks. No one wants to lose games.
The WNBA hadn't seen a schedule this grueling since 2003. Now picture a young team still searching for its identity, facing this relentless gauntlet. The Fever weren't just playing games. They were going head-to-head with the league's elite, night after night, with barely any time to recover. It was a test of both physical endurance and mental toughness, as the team fought to prove themselves against some of the best in the league.
Obviously, even if we didn't have a brutal schedule at the start, the expectations are still there and it might not go how you want it to go. And that's just part of those growing pains. And then you add in trying to build chemistry, and then you're adding in a very difficult schedule.
The losses began to stack up, and with them, the pressure mounted. The team struggled out of the gates with a discouraging 2-win, 1-loss record, especially for a squad that had just landed the #1 draft pick. Expectations were sky high, but rather than meeting them, they found themselves spiraling downward. Lexie Hull, still regaining her confidence after a bench role early in the season, felt the weight of those expectations. Reflecting on the team's mindset, she described the challenges they faced.
All of these pressures and expectations, again, it's like, are we good enough? Are we going to be good enough?
Behind closed doors, the team's morale was hanging by a thread. Coach Christy Sides was tasked with the difficult job of keeping her players focused and motivated amid the mounting losses. But how do you build team chemistry when you're constantly on the road, facing one tough opponent after another? The lack of practice time only added to their challenges, with games coming thick and fast, leaving little opportunity to address weaknesses or develop new strategies. It felt as though the Fever were trapped in a perfect storm of bad scheduling and fierce competition.
We ran the numbers at the Nets. No one had gone through what you went through since the 2003 WNBA season. Was it hard in those early days to kind of keep your equilibrium between the attention and the amount of difficulty in the schedule itself?
How close did they come to falling apart? The breaking point was dangerously close. Lesser teams might have crumbled under the pressure, fracturing into cliques and pointing fingers, but something remarkable happened during those darkest moments. The team's secret weapon revealed itself: resilience. "We as a group were really resilient and stuck together," Hull said. Instead of turning on each other, they leaned on one another for support. They dug deep, pushing through grueling practices whenever they could find the time, determined to turn things around and stay united in their pursuit of success.
I think we as a group were really resilient and stuck together and believed that this process was going to play out and that we were going to get better. We're going to be a team that can compete against every team in the league. And we did that by the end of the season. So I think I'm proud looking back that we didn't just give in and say, it's not this year. Like, we'll start over next year.
It wasn't just about improving their skills. It was about forging a bond strong enough to withstand the toughest challenges the WNBA could throw at them. They knew that to succeed, they needed to be more than just a group of talented players. They had to be a team that could rely on each other no matter the obstacles in their path.
Dug deep, we practiced hard, and eventually when we had time to practice, in the start, we didn't really have time to practice as a team. We got closer, we got better, and I think you saw that, how we played on the court. It just continued to get better and better throughout the year.
Even as the Fever weathered the storm, they knew resilience alone wouldn't be enough to turn their season around. Something had to change. They needed a spark, a catalyst that could transform their potential into real results on the court. Little did they know, that spark was about to arrive in spectacular fashion. Enter Caitlin Clark. The rookie sensation brought a whirlwind of excitement to the Indiana Fever. Reporters flooded practices, fans scrambled for tickets, and all eyes turned to Indianapolis. But a big question remained. How would this star rookie fit with a team still finding its identity?
I remember the draft party in Cambridge, which was the first time we had that many people in Cambridge for not really any performance. The stands were filled, people had their jerseys, people had their gear on, and it was just a hint of what the season was going to be like.
For Lexie Hull and her teammates, Caitlin Clark's arrival meant adjusting to a new level of attention. With all the hype surrounding their new star, the pressure to win and meet expectations intensified. But as Clark settled in, her presence began to elevate everyone's game. Hull was amazed by the transformation. "It's awesome to see everyone grow," she said, marveling at how Clark created new opportunities on the court. Hull had to adapt to Clark's unique playing style. Her vision and passing were unlike anything Hull had ever seen. "It took me a while to realize she could pass to me from the other end of the court," Hull admitted.
I mean, I definitely got passes and tried to finish when I wasn't expecting to get the ball. So like now it's like, okay, every cut I have, every cut I make, every fast break I run, like I have a real opportunity to get the ball, which definitely like took me a second. And I think it really just took one of those to really get my head around like, oh, she's all the way down at the other end of the floor and she could still make the pass to me down at the block at this end. So, I mean, it's been awesome.